Hey, Kerry here. Wanted to talk today a bit more about the baby boomer sell off and what I call the eventual baby boomer die off. I did quite a bit of talk about it and videos about it in the past, and I've covered it very extensively in my book, Supercharge Your Real Estate Career with Social Media, and how the industry is going to change. The baby boomers basically were born between 1946 and 1964. It's the largest segment of our population until the millennials came along and they surpassed us. But what was interesting is that they have driven our economy from the start since the 1940s. They were there to bring on the advent of television. I like to say, they totally changed the cereal aisle in the grocery store. And then as they got into stronger positions and grew and matured, they drove our economy and continue to drive our economy in many respects. The baby boomers actually started reaching 65 retirement age in 2011. And the significance of that, particularly to real estate, is that's when they decided they wanted to downsize, or because they retired, they wanted to move somewhere else, the beach, the mountains, closer to their grandchildren, whatever. And it drastically and dramatically has affected the real estate industry. The other element of it is, in many cases, they have chose to age in place, and therefore they haven't put their homes, in some cases, on the market, which has created a shortage of real estate, particularly in the lower ends of the market. And that's where there's pretty high demand. Some other things that happened along the way that I think are pretty dynamic. In May of 1960, the Food and Drug Administration passed or allowed the sale of the first birth control pill. Now, a lot of people don't think that's much of anything, but to me, as a teenager, it meant quite a bit. But the demographic effect of it is that Generation X, the generation that followed, the children of the boomers, and Generation X is actually 25% smaller than the boomer generation. So as far as real estate is concerned, that shrunk the buyer's pool by 25%. What also happened to them was that they bought their first homes in the late 90s, were buying their second homes in the early 2000s, and then the subprime crisis, which was pretty much engineered by the baby boomers, who were the bankers and the regulators that allowed the subprime crisis to occur, pretty much pulled the rug out from underneath the Generation Xers, and in many cases caused them to lose their equity, lose their house, lose their jobs. And so that has affected their ability now and their willingness to buy up and buy, particularly at the higher end homes. So we have the Generation Xers who have kind of not come through and bought the big homes from their parents. Then, from the point of view of the millennials, the baby boomers again strapped them because they're the policymakers with enormous education debt. When I graduated from college, I had no debt, but then it only cost me $1,800 a year to go to a state college. Today, the average graduate from college graduates with somewhere between $30,000 and $35,000 in student loans. So they aren't really in a position to buy the homes as they might wish to. And then the other thing is the millennials live more at a different code. They enjoy smaller homes and bigger lives, where the generation or the boomers wanted the big homes. They built the big homes behind the gated communities adjacent to the golf courses, the tennis courts, and the swimming pools. They wanted everything for their family right there. That isn't desirable amongst the millennials. I think it's kind of interesting that, in fact, the millennials are more interested in their grandparents' homes, where their parents grew up, in the more closer to the inner city, in the cottage type homes, at the closer neighborhoods where you can walk to the grocery store or walk to a bar or a restaurant. And so walkable communities have become more desirable than gated communities. So the next element of it that I think is going to affect is the baby boomer die off. And what that means is the first baby boomer will reach 77 in 2023, and the last baby boomer will reach 77 in about 2045. So these homes of the baby boomers will become available. The question then becomes, will that create, particularly at the high end, a bubble? Will those homes be unsaleable? I don't know, quite honestly. I kind of think not. I think our economy is going to change rapidly as a result of the digital transformation of our economy. The whole spectrum is going to change, and you can see. I've done some videos on the digitization of the real estate brokerage, the real estate industry, and the real estate agent, and you can get some insights. In fact, there'll be a link at the end of this video to some of those. So, where are the boomer opportunities? If we're having this overwhelming movement in the demographics of our country and of the world, where do the opportunities lie? Well, I think immediately, as the boomers are, what would it be, 7 years into the baby boomer sell off, they're wanting to downsize. They're wanting to move away from their 2-story, 4-bedroom homes, and they want to get away from stairs. I live in a neighborhood that 75% of the homes have tuck under garages. So you're basically pulling your car into a garage that is part of your basement, and you're having to go up steps. That's not good for baby boomers. Their knees start going out. They don't have the wind to climb the steps, and they want to get out of them. So I believe there's a real opportunity in new construction. And that's why I have taken on Hampton Gates is the name of the community. It's got 40 lots in it. We're developing the lots, and that's what we're building. We're building 1-story homes, and if they are 2-story, the master bedroom is certainly on the first floor, and only the kids and grandkids can go up those steps. And the garage is going to be adjacent to the kitchen, so you can get out of the car, bring the groceries straight in. So new construction, I think, as a real estate agent, is something you need to look at and find a way to put yourself, whether you're the developer or you're the sales representative for that new construction. And I think that presents some tremendous opportunities to take advantage of this baby boomer sell-off. The other element is that if you can go into some of these communities that are maybe a little closer in, and you become a flipper, you buy, fix up, and sell homes specifically designed for the baby boomer generation. And I think that is an opportunity that you as a real estate agent should think about. The other opportunity is if you can find a market for their big homes. This is going to, I have in some of my videos, I've expanded on the fact that in some of the gated communities in Birmingham, only a third, maybe 37% of the homes over $750,000 that come to market are selling. And each year that 37% will drop a little bit more and a little bit more as more and more of them come to the market. Well, if you can come up with a way to market those homes, you're ahead of most of us. I spent 3 years at it, and I've gotten quite frustrated. To have a house on the market for a year is no strange thing. And the boomers are just not willing to bring their prices down to make them attractive to those people who do have, and that's usually Generation Xers, enough income to support a $750,000 or more home. So if you can do that, the other way it corrects itself is if you have a large corporation move into your city, or a relocation of a large corporation into another part of your city where the high paid people end up moving to a new office or something, and they then are in the market for some of these bigger homes. The other thing that I think will drastically change this scenario is technology. I think again, I'm going to allude to the videos that I've done in the digitization of real estate. We're going to go to smart homes. And if you can get affiliated with someone who is converting homes into smart homes, that basically gives an advantage on utilities, on maintenance, on communication. If you can get involved in that, I think there is an opportunity to sell some of these bigger homes by converting them to smart homes. And that's real close in. As we get into 5G and we have better use of Internet of Things within homes, this is going to be a selling point and an attractive step up or upgrade in the housing market. Then the other thing that I think is going to become interesting is that if you can become a short sale expert. If I'm right, and if in fact this baby boomer sell-off and die-off results in a glut of high-end homes, the banks are going to get stuck with a lot of homes. And they're going to be wanting someone who really is attuned to the short sale and can help them move their inventory. A bank doesn't want to take a house where they're underwater into foreclosure. Their expense of holding, their expense of liquidating goes up substantially. So if they know of someone in the community who is really attuned to short sales, you've got a market and you've got a leg up on every other realtor. So I really encourage you. I've got a video I just did because I got involved on a short sale on $1 million home, and I learned a lot about it, and I helped some people out, and I helped a bank out, and I'm going to put that as an arrow in my quiver, as well as the development of real estate for baby boomers on one level living. So that's kind of an update on my video of 2017 on the baby boomer sell-off and the coming baby boomer die-off. I don't know, I think I did recognize or mention the years. The baby boomer die-off will really start in 2023 and go through 2045. It's going to be the largest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind. Think about that. Baby boomers own 75% of the expensive real estate in the United States, and they're going to be willing it to their children. And unlike past generations where the children lived in the same community, that's not so much true anymore. So as they will them to their children, and the children have to assume the responsibility and the financial support of that home, whether it be maintenance, the utilities, HOA dues, taxes, everything that goes with a home, their children are going to want to liquidate. And if they just say to their realtor, turn it into cash before it eats any equity up, that's a potential for a bubble. So be aware of that. Be aware of the demographics. I've got some good reading in the description. Certainly my book is a good read on the baby boomer situation. And then if you want to get into the demographics of the world and the geopolitics of the world, the accidental superpower is just really good. So that's my thoughts on that. Any comments, put them below. If this is the kind of videos that can help you, please subscribe. And then if you hit that bell, what that does is it gets you a notification of every time I post a new video. So that's my thoughts for the day, and let's keep meeting and let's keep talking like this.